Hi,
Hello, who's there?
it's Susan, and
You're the
Need-
meeting host, but you're,
yeah.
okay.
Let's see if I can rename myself.
Well, it's okay. I know who you are. This is Janice.
And we are being recorded now.
Yeah, I did click on that.
Okay, start video. Yes.
Oh, we have sound and an image. You're not on the phone.
Yes, and let's fingers crossed after the third time, it may last.
Okay.
Because
Wonderful.
it only lasted 2 meetings after Thursday. It lasted Saturday night and it lasted Monday morning, and that was it.
Wow. Wow. Oh, excuse me.
I think Petey has joined us.
Yes, he has. He started pecking at my back. Not pecking, pawing, I should say.
I have to remember to let people in, which I'm not used to.
Yes, please let everybody in.
I think,
This
oh,
is
Martha's
Gomberg.
not here yet,
Here's
and
Joanne.
here's Susan.
Hi, Joanne.
Hi, Joanne.
And there's
Hello,
Susan.
everybody.
Gomberg.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Oh, same
Thank
to
you.
you. Linda, I'm making you co-host.
Okay, excellent. Excellent.
Anybody else out there?
This is Gomberg. I think I'm in.
You are.
Yeah.
Hi,
You're
Sue.
definitely here.
Everybody,
You're there.
Happy New Year.
Yes,
Same to
and
you.
Should we wait a couple minutes just to see if Martha and Jeanette come on?
Mhm. Yep.
I'll just say to Susan Millinger, this is Janice, that I appreciate you making me tell you about the two-page spreads in the newsletter, because I realized that the first two-page spread, the text boxes aren't quite lined up with each other across the spread.
Oh,
So I will
dear.
fix that.
Oh,
But I
good.
wouldn't have noticed if you hadn't said something. Then I went
If
and
I
put it in.
hadn't complained about it being hard to read when you scroll down through the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Oh,
But when it's printed, those, like the police chief and the fire chief jumps will be on facing pages. And so will the survey inside stuff. And then the life path, then the COA and life path things. And those pages are okay, but the others are, and I need to fiddle with them a little bit.
I'm amazed, Janice, that you've done this so quickly and so beautifully.
Well,
I was
I think we could, I think this is housekeeping. We could talk about, I
Okay.
actually didn't remember until today, when I was at the hospital, that I was supposed to also tell people not only to get the silver line, but to sign up for the weekly, The Good Life. I'd forgotten that.
Mhm.
And so it's now in there. So I will send out a revised version later.
okay.
okay.
I can mention another wrinkle that came up as I was driving home. When we get to that part of the agenda.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
Martha is connecting to audio, so when she's in, then we'll go ahead and start, right?
Mhm.
Do we know if Jeanette is coming? She did write about the newsletters. I know she's was around virtually anyway.
Yeah, and I think she taught yoga yesterday or this morning.
Ah,
Hi, Martha.
Hi all, sorry I'm late.
It's okay.
You're here.
I'm here.
So let's call ourselves to order at 5:35 PM. And I just want to let us all be aware that there is another meeting, town meeting at 7. So we want to be finished and adjourned by 6:50 PM.
Oh, nice, because I have another meeting
Okay.
at 7. That would be very
Oh,
pleasant.
well, there we go. Okay, all right, so we'll all try to hold that. All right, so Linda Ava Scott present.
Joanne Bernhard present.
Martha Faber present.
And Gomberg present.
Janice Gray present.
Susan Millinger present.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
The first order of business is the December minutes, which Susan has sent around with a couple of corrections made already, and I think that should be ready to go.
So I'll,
Would anyone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion, Martha, to accept the December minutes. Do I need to state the date?
14.
December 14th.
14th.
Yeah.
Council on
Mhm.
Aging. minute.
Bernhard
Gomberg,
second.
Okay. Any other
All in
discussion?
favor?
Do you want us roll call?
Martha, did you have a discussion item?
No, just
Okay.
raising my,
Yes, you have to,
Okay.
you have to say, you have to say your name and say aye.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
recording, so you have to say your name. Okay.
Sorry.
Bernhard, aye.
Favre, aye.
Berg, aye.
Gray, aye.
Millinger, aye.
And Scott, aye.
Okay. Approved. Okay. Linda, do you have a financial update for us?
Yes, I do have a financial update. So at our last meeting, the balance in our grant account to our, best, best numbers that we have is $4,936.36. That was our ending balance. December care was $140, leaving us with a balance today of $4,796.36.
Okay.
I wish
Minus,
somebody would spend those 36 cents.
okay, minus
That 36 cents.
it, well, it just comes out that way.
Yeah.
Because the the news, anyway, the newsletter isn't, to a near dollar. It's, anyway, we have minus an estimate of $550 for the Gazette and $1,095 for the next 6 months of foot care. Leaves us with unallocated funds of $3,151.36.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So there we are. That's what we have. Now, I forwarded to all of you Mary Ann's request for funding for fitness classes, and her preference is that her ask of us, her preferred ask is $750 or more toward all fitness classes. She did send, and I just forwarded to all of you an update from her with a lesser total overall, which because of Kathy being away and missing 3 classes. So the overall total is now $2,535. Okay.
This is Bernhard. In addition to the email that she sent to Linda, I did have a conversation which kind of casts a different view of this, which is we can give her as much as we want and she will put it towards the classes, and we will be listed as co-sponsors of all 4 classes.
Right.
So we don't really have to pick one to sponsor. We can give an amount of money and she will divvy it up among
Right.
the different classes,
Yeah.
which is a different way of doing it than we've done it before. Janice?
I just want to throw in that in writing the Gazette, I went to the library website to see how she explained us, and that's what she did. So it's mirrored actually in the Gazette. So it's it's just like these classes are, she lists the friends, the library, and us, without explaining who did what.
Thank you.
Okay.
And as
Okay.
a point Oh, go ahead, Susan M.
I was just gonna say, my recollection of the minutes is the last time we gave them money, we did give it to her to use as she saw fit,
Yes.
to divide
We-
as she
we
saw
did give-
fit.
Well, this
A
is
month.
Bernhard. We gave her $780, which was the amount for one of the either yoga or strength training classes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I don't know if she used it that way or if she used it, overall, but we did pick the number that was the same as one of the either Kathy Swartz yoga it was 780. I don't know if it was Kathy Swartz yoga or Jay's strength training, but it did mirror one of the classes.
Yes, and
Cost.
so, yes, and I'll just update you in that, the invoice from Mary Ann was for $780, which was our portion of strength training and therapeutic yoga classes, September through November.
Okay.
So that's how she'll write what Mary Ann will do in the next invoice is that she puts out an invoice for the total and then types in what our portion is, because that's what that's how it will look.
Mhm.
So Susan Millinger, did you have something?
I have a really quick question and a suggestion. My question is there going to be a fourth quarter?
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
so we'll get the
Yes.
fourth quarter request too.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, anticipatorily, we will, yes.
Okay, so I would like to suggest that we offer $1,000 since we have a lot more than we thought we had.
Okay, so are you
Mhm.
making a motion? Because
I
then we
make,
can-
yeah, I make a motion that we grant for the fitness classes $1,000 for the third quarter.
I'm laughing because I was going to say the same thing, the same
Okay.
amount.
Okay, would you like to second the motion?
Do we have to is that how it works? And then we discuss? I don't know. I'm stupid again.
Yes. if
Okay,
we
I
have a-
second Susan's motion to offer the library $1,000 for fitness programs.
And now,
Okay.
discussion on the motion for $1,000
Mhm.
donation.
This is Bernhard. I agree with that. That was going to be my suggestion too.
Susan
Mrs.
G.
Goldberg, I hadn't thought of that, but I think it's fine.
and
Martha?
I agree. Favre
Okay.
agrees.
Okay, so sounds like we're
Okay.
ready to vote.
Mm-hmm. Bernhard, aye.
Martha Favre, aye.
Gomberg, aye.
Ray, aye.
Millinger, aye.
Scott, aye.
Okay. Motion is
Okay.
passed.
Right, so, would you like me to email Mary Ann our decision?
Yes, please.
Okay, okay. All right, got it. All right, so. I'm just making a note.
Mhm.
No, so now we have $2,151.36 of unallocated funds. Okay.
Okay. So the next item is the Gazette, which Janice has sent us already a wonderful PDF for, and I was reading it over today, and I'm just amazed that there was that much really good information going out. So thank you, Janice, for especially for your summary of the survey.
Hard.
Yes,
'Cause
yes.
that was a big,
agree.
that was a really big piece to summarize, and I
Yes.
appreciate how you
Yes.
did that.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, very much.
Mhm. Yeah, and Martha, your interview with Lenny was great. I feel like this issue of the Gazette is maybe one of the most substantive that has gone out while I've been here. And I'm really, really pleased with it. So I had a list of other things that we could have put in, but there's no room, so.
So Janice, would you like to, speak to your process?
Okay,
and-
one of the things that, so you saw an email come out about the SNAP emergency allotment being dropped on March 2nd. So I scrambled to try to figure that out and put something brief in there on page 7. As I was driving home from the hospital, NPR reported that President Biden had signed an extension or a renewal or another thing of the emergency. I can actually, where to go? Biden extends
Oh,
public health emergency as the Omicron variant surges, blah, blah, blah. So this just happened. He's extended it. I'd have to click on the article. He actually, I guess he did it this morning at around noon. But I'm not clear. He's doing it because he's trying to free up hospitals and pharmacies to be able to do things that they can do now under this emergency that they will not be able to do. For example, CVS giving people shots that are free. I don't know. So my point is, I do not know if this extension includes the SNAP emergency allotment. So, and there's nothing yet that I can find Googling that says that or says it doesn't include it. So I would not, and not that we're going to, but I would not send this thing to the printer right now.
Okay,
We need to find out
Okay.
from someone like MCOA.
Yeah.
If maybe the deadline is now, maybe it's now going to be dropped on May 2nd or something like that.
yeah,
Mhm.
so.
It's
so
a
that's-
short-term extension. So
Yes, I
that's
guess
a- yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Janice. So thus far,
Hmm.
nothing has come from MCOA. I just double checked.
I looked, that was the first place I
Mhm.
looked.
Yeah,
And by the time I got
Mhm.
home, it was, they were all probably going home after a work day. So they weren't, we can sit on it for a little bit.
okay, so we'll keep an eye out. Martha?
I have a suggestion in terms of how we can find that out. McGovern, our federal rep, he's
Mhm.
he's very active with the whole issue of food and food scarcity. So I bet you I can give his office a call tomorrow and see if they can give us information as to whether it was extended or not.
Are
Okay,
you saying that
Mhm.
you would call him?
I'll call him.
That would be wonderful.
thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Good idea.
We get his newsletter daily and he's yeah, so anyhow, I'll call him.
Wonderful. Whew.
This is Bernhardt. One of the other things I had written down, I was looking at, after all of our electric bills have gone up, with National Grid, our electric bills have tripled. I was looking up, there are several things that people can access to maybe lower their electric bills. One is the Low Income Energy Home Assistance Program. One is Good Neighbor Energy Fund, and there's another Emergency Utility Help. Which so in case there's room without the SNAP program. No,
Oh.
okay.
I see what you're saying. If the SNAP well,
If we can't put that in,
I think
and there's a little bit of blank space. Because people are now, I'm hearing a lot of, oh, my energy bill just tripled.
are you willing to send me
so-
what you've got there?
I can send you what I have. Yes, I will do that.
My concern
Yeah.
is that even if the SNAP benefits are continuing until May, I think we still need to have
Right.
that in there.
Yes.
I don't think we can just yank it and suddenly free up space. Now, the money management article could go.
Yep.
Well, the money management article is really good, so.
Well,
Susan Millinger,
oh, sorry, it's just, you should finish what you're saying, Joanne. I'm sorry.
I'm done. I'm done.
Well, the DEI piece, which I like, if necessary, it could go in a later paper, right? The trainings.
Yeah,
I'm losing
I
track of.
think it would be a lower priority than lowering
the box.
electricity bills.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. DEI didn't ring a bell for me for a minute. I was thinking DTA. You mean the thing about how we
Diversity.
did all these things?
The
Yeah,
trainings, yeah.
with the awesome image.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can see what happens. I agree that because we wouldn't be having another issue, we most likely would not be having another issue if in time for if the benefits are extended to, like Janice said, say May, or we may not have another issue to talk about the SNAP, what people
Mhm.
do to get more assistance. So I guess we'll just wait and see what unfolds, and we'll have a report from Martha when she's able to receive an answer from McGovern's office. And then
Okay.
we'll go from there. And then, so the other piece of all this, of course, is once we have a finalized PDF from Janice, then Janice and I will get organized, and we'll be sending it to Adam's direct mail for printing. And I have done the best I can to make changes to the mailing list as I'm become aware of them. And I'm wondering if I forward it to you, Joanne, that you would look it over and see if you're aware of any other changes.
Okay.
I took out 2 people that I know who have died, and I don't know, Jacqueline Kinder and Paul Flash.
Mhm.
And I don't know of anyone else. So if you want to take a
Okay.
look.
I will. This is Joanne. I will gladly take a look.
This is Janice and adding Harry Masterton.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Yep. I think I did
Mhm.
that change already, but I will check on that. Thank you, Janice.
This is Gomberg. What about Marty Ostrowski, was it?
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, it was a
Mm.
while ago.
Okay, thank you. Oh,
Marty
Mm.
Ostrowski?
mhm.
I think that was the last name.
Yeah.
He was,
Yes,
yeah,
yep,
he was in the
it
food
is.
clinic.
Yes, yep, I know. I knew him. Yeah, thanks. Okay, thank
Mm.
you. I'll check, I'll make sure those changes are done before I send it to you, Joanne.
And this
Okay.
is Gomberg again. I guess, is there a way to double check on Ostrowski? I'm, 90% sure, but
I'll check. I'll Google it and see. Usually we can find obituaries that way.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Mhm.
Anybody else? Okay, thanks.
Not that I know of. Yeah.
Yeah. So, thank you, Janice, for all your work on the newsletter.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Millinger, I agree with Joanne. It's a really impressive newsletter, packed full of information.
Yeah,
Mhm.
with a really great layout, and having
Mhm.
photographs of both the chiefs is really great.
Mhm. Right. Yeah.
And thank you,
This
Martha.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great interview.
And she
Really.
had
And a
sorry,
lot of good information for people too,
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
with
Martha
the,
really had to work hard to get the photo. Mine was easy. She just said, whoop, there it is. And
He's
then
a
I
busy
managed to
guy.
lose it and had to ask her to send it to me again, which was humiliating, but true confession.
Mhm. Mhm.
Domberg, I was going to say I could have given you Lenny's kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, et cetera, pictures, but that he probably wouldn't like that.
He probably wouldn't.
Oh,
Are
yeah,
you a
Not-
relative?
that too. There's a story on Montague Road where apparently Fire Chief Lenny was walking down the middle of Montague Road at the age of 2 or 3 with his blanket in tow, and somebody was driving up the road and pulled into the neighbor's house and said, "What are you doing letting your child run out on the road like that?" And nobody knew who he belonged to. He was just walking down the middle of the road with his blanket.
Hey,
What a
One
great
of the
story.
Montague Road stories, yeah. But I think these interviews are so informative and nice for people to get to know, who are the other people in town. And so when we do our next GZAT, maybe we should think of what other people we could interview that people would be interested in knowing about, since we have good interviewers apparently on our
Mhm.
team.
Mhm.
I'm going to suggest Becky,
Yeah,
Becky,
I was
Right.
thinking that also.
often overlooked.
yes, yes.
And we have a lot of newer people in town
Mhm.
who would
Right.
enjoy the
Mhm.
introduction to Becky.
Yeah,
And maybe Grace.
Mhm.
yes, yes. Mhm.
So do we feel complete right now?
Mhm.
And I, I, I think we're in, I guess I want to just check that we're in consensus. Are we in consensus that once information about this, about SNAP is confirmed, that
Mhm.
would you want, the mailing to go ahead once we've got the list reviewed and the mailing list reviewed and Janice has had a chance to finalize the PDF? Are we okay to just go ahead when
Mhm.
Susan?
Janice with a suggestion, since there might be, sounds like there will be a new story. I could send it out again with whatever this electric bill thing is about.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
Because
okay.
I might get something wrong. Oh, and here comes Mary Ann. And the other
Yeah.
thing is I could put that
Mhm.
diversity training thing on our website, if you want me to, our webpage.
Okay.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So we'll,
Mhm.
we'll proceed when it's all ready.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Mhm.
Mhm.
sounds good. Yes.
All right, great. Mary Ann has joined us.
Marianne needs to unmute.
Oh, now we got,
Jeanette
oh,
is here.
Jeanette's talking
Oh,
again.
it's Jeanette.
Oh,
Jeanette.
Jeanette.
Jeanette is on
not
Mary
Mary
Ann's website for some reason.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
Because we're
Okay.
teaching.
Jeanette, unmute.
Now,
Yes.
There you are.
Righty. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year.
Hi, we're
Hi,
glad you could
Jeanette.
join us. Okay, so the
Okay,
next,
our next,
oh, go ahead, Joanne.
Go
Go ahead,
ahead.
Joanne.
well, I was going to say the next order of business is the foot clinic and whether or not to reinitiate using town hall for the foot clinic instead of the home visits.
And
Susan Gomberg?
Yes, I did go into the town hall and speak with Becky. And basically, it's not going to happen at town hall for the foreseeable future. Becky is
Okay.
very uncomfortable with, bringing in people to the town hall. And as has happened before, every time, I guess I'm the one that usually brings this up about going back, there's a new surge of some new variant, which there is right
Mhm.
now also.
Mhm.
So she's, would be just very uncomfortable, and it's not going to happen. Also, she says, we have a workable system, that the system we have right now is working. So it's not as if people cannot get foot care. So that's another reason for just keeping it as it is for who knows when. So basically, that's what will happen, I guess. And also just a note, Sue Miller, the foot care nurse, is retiring as of the end of January. The new nurse, somebody called Nancy Mead, she said she thinks she lives in this area.
Mhm.
I don't know what that area is, but she should
Wendell.
be able to. You know her? Great.
Yes, Janice Gray met her on New Year's Day, and she mentioned that she thought she might be taking over Shutesbury's, and she lives in Wendell.
Oh, good.
Good.
Well, she will be taking over Shutesbury as of February.
Sorry to interrupt, but I had to laugh when I heard that.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Mhm.
That's my story.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you.
Certainly.
Okay,
One piece, matter that Sue Gomberg suggested to me when we were working on getting the phone system back up and running after the switchover, is that the COA might send a note to Foot Care by Nurses recognizing Sue Miller,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
commitment to foot care in our community for, throughout the pandemic, before and through.
Mrs. Domberg, I think that would be great because she's really good at her job. Has been driving around through winters up here, and I think it would mean a lot to her.
Susan Gomberg, could you draft a letter and send it, and we'll
Yeah.
look at it, add on to it, whatever, and then send it in? That would be great, because you know more than anybody what Sue Miller has done.
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Thank
Gray
you.
here. Is this a housekeeping kind of thing? Do we have to meet?
Linda?
Actually, if we vote to,
Oh, great.
if we vote to say that, like Sue and somebody else, work on the letter and, and we could put it in a card, and send it, then it would go sooner if we say we endorse so-and-so.
Okay.
Su-
Susan Millinger?
Yeah, the secretary wants clarification. Are we sending this letter to Sue or are we sending it to the Office of Foot Care by Nurses?
I believe we would send it to, my idea is that we would send it to Foot Care by Nurses, attention, Sue Miller.
Okay.
But that's
Okay.
a good idea because I don't have her home address. I know she lives in Belchertown, but that's it.
Right, yeah, so that's what we would do.
So what
Mhm.
this is Gomberg again, what I could do is write some kind of a letter, send it by email to maybe you, Joanne, and Linda, and if it's okay, then I'll write it out on a nice card and send it from the Council on Aging. That work?
Sure.
Sounds good to me. Yeah. Okay,
Great.
this is Joanne. I'll be happy to work with you on that, Susan.
Do we have
Okay.
letterhead?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe there was something that her note could be on. So, never mind.
Yeah, it could, or it could be on a card, in a card,
Mhm.
which I think is what we're thinking. Susan M.
Just again, secretary's clarification. Who is, Susan, who are you sending this letter to for review or revision or whatever you want to call it?
I guess I'm going to write it and then I'll email Joanne. And
Okay.
then if it's good, then I will get a lovely card and handwrite it out and send it to
Mhm.
Attention Sue Miller.
Thank you for clarification.
So,
And I would
go
be
ahead.
doing this, in the month, the beginning of February is when I would think it should go out.
Mhm.
Well, actually, yeah, the last week of January.
Mhm.
Would be good, yeah.
Yes, yes, so that way, she'll have it, before she retires or right around.
Yes.
So we ought to make a vote on this.
I can make a motion. This is Gomberg. I move that the Council on Aging send a letter of appreciation to Sue Miller for her good work as our foot care nurse for over 3 years.
Hmm.
So I make that motion.
This is Bernhard's second.
Any further discussion? Okay, so let's vote.
Okay. Our next order of business is
Oh,
transportation.
Joanne, we have to vote first.
Gotta vote.
Oh, didn't we vote? No, okay,
No.
sorry. Bernhard, aye.
Barbara, I.
Aye.
Gray, eye.
Dillinger, aye.
Dot I.
Are you choosing to be muted, Jeanette?
You know what? It's just my husband is doing dishes at the moment and he'd be clanking away. So,
Okay,
I,
Thanks.
it'll end soon.
okay.
Okay. So Joanne, over to you. Transportation.
Transportation. I've been trying to ask Becky, the town administrator, what her conversation with PVTA was, and I haven't been able to reach her. I have joined the Life Path Working Group on Transportation, which will meet tomorrow for the first time. I understand also that Elizabeth Fernandez O'Brien from Village Neighbors has also joined that working group, so we'll be working together on it, which is really good. And other than that, I don't have any information, except I have a question. And when I was looking up the FRTA, I noticed that Janice put in the Gazette the information about FRTA doing med rides outside of Franklin County. And I was wondering why only outside of Franklin County, and went back to look at it. And we may have discussed this when I was in a condition of brain fog. Do we know about the demand response service for FRTA within, apparently towns in our area, New Salem and Wendell and Orange and other towns have the demand response service. I imagine it's something we have to apply for, but I don't know, have we discussed this before?
Yes.
Yes. Go
Okay,
ahead, Janice.
We're not in that system at this point.
That's what the
Right.
select board has to figure out.
the select board?
Yep.
Okay, so it's in the hands now of the select board?
Jeanette?
I think so. I think so. And it's gotten very, very, very quiet. So we haven't heard anything. And Village Neighbors has really been kind of bothering them now for months, maybe almost years. But I think the demand, as opposed to like a regular route, is definitely the way that it's going to happen. Because we would be.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. It's the demand response program that we want. Yes.
Right, yeah.
Oh, I
Does
mean.
anyone know
I'm just
what the
saying that,
procedure is?
know,
What's the procedure
For getting this approved,
for
for getting a
for
ride.
doing it? No, for being on a member of the program.
So the select board has to decide, which is why they decided also to investigate PVTA, because many people in Shutesbury go that direction versus the Greenfield direction. So, but there has to be a financial contribution on the part of the town, and that's the select board process.
Okay,
Yep. So they have to, enter into contract agreements.
Okay, and just to be really clear, I don't think that we actually pay anything. We actually are most like excused funds or something. There's something weird, rather than us paying them, we get less state funding or something.
Okay. But there is a
Mm.
financial
There is-
something. Yeah.
there- When we,
Mhm.
we don't get that money, so that's another way of paying.
Yep. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, well, I'm wondering if, well, Joanne, it seems like you'll have a report for us from the working group for next meeting.
Right.
And so then we can consider whether or not we need to take some sort of action, some sort of statement to the select board or something.
Mhm.
From the council, emphasizing the need for action.
Okay.
Does that sound good to folks?
Yes.
Very good.
Okay, are we done with that topic now? Apparently.
Sounds,
Actually, I just wanted to say, just one thing. I wanted to thank Janice for really highlighting it in that compilation you did. Because I don't know what
Mhm.
it take to get this, it's like every little bit of buttering and shaming that we can do seems to be needed.
Mhm.
Mm.
Well, I'm thinking, this is Joanne, I'm thinking some kind of summary to the select board of the doubling of numbers of seniors
Mhm.
and the trend in town, as we have discussed, and the importance of transportation and it being one of the top priorities of seniors in town. We should write this up and send it to the select board with an ask for more urgency in following through with this.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because the select board has a lot of things going on, so it's not at the top of the pile, but we do have, information from the census, and the select board may not even be aware of this at
Mhm.
this point. So I think, and that coupled with the survey information should be brought to the attention of the select board in terms of following through with the transportation issues.
Gray here, when you're done. So
I'm done.
the reason we, the Council on Aging, first learned about the transportation information in the survey is because Rita Farrell and someone,
Mhm.
and Jeanette maybe, managed to get the Shutesbury results before we did.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Um,
Oh, I thought Village Neighbors got it before.
Well,
First.
somebody got it, but I got the impression at the time, and Jeanette can correct me if I'm wrong, that Rita was part of that shaking the tree or something.
Mm,
Kind of, I mean, it started with Village Neighbors asking me to talk to the COA, and at the point that I did it, I spoke to Sally Fairfield, thinking she was still in the COA, and then she put me in touch with I guess you all, and then I also spoke to Rita a couple times. So truly, this has
Mhm.
been hanging around for about a year and a half.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hopefully it gets used, so all the kvetching will be worth it.
Okay.
I have a question, Gray, here, because I look, now that again, we have so little room in the newsletter, but there might be a tiny bit. Should we amend what I say in both under the survey section and in our own page where I do talk about our program being suspended, that Village Neighbors has one? Should I say currently in Franklin County, currently the only Franklin County authority thing is this thing go outside of Franklin County? I mean, should I qualify it or just leave it alone? If you can follow me.
This is Joanne. I was, when I read it today, I was like, oh, okay, so only outside of Franklin County. So what happens inside of Franklin County? And I'm sorry, I didn't remember from previous conversations about this. So I went, I was looking it up, and then I saw the demand response service and the different towns that were part of that program. It just seemed a little strange that there was transportation outside of Franklin County, but not inside Franklin County.
Right.
Right, that's.
But I don't know what we could say that because we're not part of that program yet, I don't think there's anything to report in the Gazette about it. Janice?
No, I'm looking at I was, yeah, I could say I'd have to add a line or something, which was scary.
Yeah, so.
Because I went and looked at the demand response program, and that's when I realized we weren't in there. And I don't know if we should tell people that we are not currently part of the demand response program.
Well, only if you can fit it, and right now you can't.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Well,
Oh.
I might be able, if I take out the little tiny image of a survey, it's a little graphic. And then it will move other things up. I'll try to play with that because it may very well confuse other people as well. So you'll be getting another copy of this thing. And I'll try to get a little line or two in there so that if they go to the website and they see demand response, and they go, oh, then they understand, oh, we're not there. Okay, sorry, thank you.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Good suggestion. Yeah. Okay, so the next item, which says Village Neighbors potential conflict of interest. So this was brought up. I'm just looking for something. I'll be right with you. I want to find it. Maybe I don't have it with me. Anyway, because well, Janice brought up a concern that because we now have 3 members who are also members of Village Neighbors, and Jeanette is on the board. So we have currently, and if we needed to vote on something relative to Village Neighbors, we may need some guidance about that. We would still currently have a quorum, I believe, of non-Village Neighbors members. If we needed to vote, and members needed to abstain themselves. So of course, we know that the only voting member of Village Neighbors is Jeanette. And so right now we have on the books a vote made. I was trying to look, I forgot to look it up before the meeting. It was either in January, I think it was in January of 2021. Possibly, I believe it was then, January 2021, we voted to contribute $500 annually to Village Neighbors. So that vote is on the books. And if that were to change, and you'd have to, Jeanette, I believe you would need to abstain. From recuse yourself from any discussion, because you are on the board. If there is in the future any questions and, I'm no longer on the council. If there are questions, you can always ask the town clerk, Grace Banish, who is well-versed in ethics and conflict of interest forms that people need to fill out if they want to vote on a matter, but want, to the select board to consider whether they can, it's okay for them to vote. And if you ever needed to consult town council on any matter, you would need to go to the town administrator first. In other words, that you consult with Becky Torres before contacting town council, and she would provide you with guidance because she often wants to be, needs to be apprised of any situations, that may need legal guidance. So I just wanted to put those pieces of information on the record so that, it's out, we have it on the record. Any questions?
This is Joanne. What kind of circumstance would warrant a conflict of interest?
Well, say if I really don't know. I really can't think of a situation at the moment. I just, if say Jeanette, I don't know, say Jeanette wanted to participate in the discussion. She could fill out the particular document that's provided by the can't think of the name of the state office, but anyway, Grace would, as town clerk, would provide guidance and direct the person towards the document, and Jeanette could fill it out. This is just an example. Could fill it out, and then the select board would say, whether or not they felt that she could vote on a particular matter without prejudice. That's just off the top of my head. Susan M.
I had sort of thought that we might write the Attorney General's office and ask for guidance in this situation.
We would go to Grace first. It's really important to go through the proper town officials before we embark upon contacting the state, because we may not have an issue. Do you know what I mean? That would warrant a consult with the Attorney General's office before, just talking with Grace. Martha?
So, in terms of being members of Village Neighbors, I mean, is there conflict there? I know, having done that whole ethic test, the program we have to do every 2 years for years working for the state. I know the whole thing of anything over $50, a gift or anything. So, I don't know whether, the allocation of $500 to an organization to which you're on the board,
Well, are you on the board?
I'm not on the board, but I'm just thinking hypothetically, I could see that being a possible issue. What about, you mentioned also members.
It's not a gift, but it's not an individual gift. This is, we can donate money to Village Neighbors because they provide services that we do not provide.
Okay, all right.
We have guidance from our town accountant regarding that contribution. This was, if there is some sort of, I think it came up to Janice because, people can be members of Village Neighbors in order to receive services. So, that's a piece of this.
Right, okay, that's
Only if you're a member, you're not voting, correct? So Jeanette is the only person at this point that this would affect.
Well, I suppose the members elect officers, don't they, at the annual meeting?
Not, well, it's pretty minimal in terms of how many people participate in that. I don't think that would be
but potentially.
yeah.
Okay, so if there's a question like this, then if we have to address an issue regarding, not an issue, but you know, some sort of decision relative to Village Neighbors, then it would be helpful to consult with Grace as town clerk.
Right.
And then she would provide the
Okay.
appropriate guidance.
Okay, and yep, I understand. Thanks.
Yeah.
Dennis just
Yeah.
wants to say, I have nothing against Village Neighbors at all, but I have not joined in part because I was getting concerned that there were so many of us now who are members that we might need people who weren't to vote for the allocation. But as Linda has pointed out, maybe members, that's not an issue. And my concern was, and also the fact that the vote for the $500 annual thing was a couple of years ago. And it's there, it's done. Now we have new members who are in Village Neighbors who weren't with us then.
Right.
So, but I just am nervous about getting someone biting us in the ass down the road if we weren't aware of this and when we're prepared. That's all.
Right. It's good to think those things through.
Mhm.
Well, it's also in those, if you haven't yet taken the online test, and I know you've done it many times, Martha, but I don't know if Jeanette's had a chance to do it yet. You can get around this stuff if you can get like a sort of a permission from the state, and that's where this might end up someday and maybe not. So that's what I was trying to figure out before Linda left with all of her expertise in this field. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Janice, for bringing up the topic, and, you know, better to be thinking ahead and
Right.
just have an awareness and yeah, Susan M.
As Linda pointed out some time ago, I mean, Village Neighbors is basically our daughter,
Right.
which puts us in a special relationship.
Not a son.
Sorry?
I said not a son, just kidding. I like
Look
daughter.
who runs it.
I like daughter better, yeah.
Jeanette?
Stockton here. So I think we like to think of this all as a collaboration. We're all
Mhm.
together.
Yeah.
But you know, I would certainly recuse myself, as I did with the yoga vote as well. If it seems like an awkward thing, certainly.
Yeah. And that we can just, you know, if something comes up, then it would be good for you, Jeanette, to, you know, check with the town clerk and ask her for guidance.
What if something comes up, sorry, Stockton here. What if something comes up just in conversation that gets icky? I'll just turn off my screen. Does that make sense? I mean, in the event that it should happen.
Right, I mean, yes, I mean, if something came up, but generally, we wouldn't be discussing a matter of substance if it were not already on the agenda. We would table it to a future meeting.
Perfect.
Yeah, because we do try to stay, unless something comes up, you know, unexpectedly, we do try to stay, we stay with what is on the agenda. And if it's a topic of substance and it's unanticipated, we would carry it over to a future meeting, so it's on the agenda. Okay, everybody? We do have another item, future virtual life path education program. I forget who had that idea.
Me.
Susan Hillinger, I think.
But I don't have any particular suggestions. I just wondered, I mean, they're a resource that we'd like our population to know more about. And they've got some interesting information there.
Yeah.
Stockton here. Life Path just came to, Representative Lori Deshkovich, I think was her name, just came to our Village Neighbors meeting just this week. She just came right to the meeting. Very, very, very interested in doing that. So that might be something, letting us know how they can help, what they have to offer, what they have to collaborate. She came for about 15 minutes, but she's got a slideshow. So, and she
Mm.
be willing and happy to share more, because again, she sees all of this, there are great grandmother, queen mother,
Mhm.
so when we talk about the daughter,
Mhm.
the more we know, the more powerful the partnership is.
Susan?
Well, I think I was suggesting it, I mean, that's an interesting idea, Jeanette, don't get me wrong, but I was thinking about a program for the open to the public. And I'm not sure whether that's what you had in mind. So maybe everybody that reads Life Path's newsletter could just keep an eye out and see if a topic comes
Mhm.
up that you think would be attractive to more than just us, we might actually get some of the public in. One thing we really got public in for was when we had the program on hospice and palliative care.
Yes.
And that
Mhm.
might even be worth doing again.
Mm.
It's been a while.
Mhm.
Martha?
Barbara has a question. So, I'm just curious, where would this be held? I mean, in town, if they don't want foot clinic in town hall, where would?
It would be
um,
virtual.
We do it
would
on,
be-
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Mm.
I hope all those elders have cell phones by then.
Well,
Mhm.
That's an issue.
but people can
You know.
call in, they can call in on a regular phone.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Mhm.
We have Susan Gomberg here on the phone.
Yes, you do. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can, people can access, and if we were
Okay.
to do something, we would, really do a lot of information, getting it out,
Mhm.
getting the word out as
Mhm.
best we can to everyone. So
One of the things that I saw on the Life Path site when I was looking for, additional pieces that might interest people, they had a really nice write-up about fitness programs, physical activity,
Mhm.
how home-based. Oh, no, that was MCOA. Sorry, MCOA, Mass Council on Aging, had a really nice article on home-based physical activity. And I remember way back before COVID, Kathy Sward was doing some programming in the town hall. She had several sessions on physical activity, balance, and things for seniors. And it just occurred to me that we might combine something maybe in tandem with the library or with Village Neighbors about physical activity, with maybe Kathy Sward being present for, a Zoom meeting down the road somewhere. The article in the MCOA was December 13th. If you guys want to go back and look at it, I found it very good, and it reminded me of those sessions that I had attended that were really helpful.
They
Susan
were.
M., did you go to them too? I see you
Yes, I
nodding.
did. And I also think
They
Life
do.
Path they run fitness programs too.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, and some
Yeah.
of them are virtual as well. So we've got some ideas out on the table. Someone from Life Path coming and talking about their services, hospice, palliative care, and physical exercise. So it seems like maybe, I don't know, I'd like to suggest that we might pick one and
Mhm.
like perhaps Life Path, since, really helping the community know what a resource they are, and the multitude of programs that they provide, and and just getting the folks to subscribe to the Good Life, like Janice is gonna put that in the newsletter,
Mhm.
because, you know, it's a wealth of information. And so anyone
Well,
want,
perhaps for our next session, we can individually look at some of the life path things, some of the MCOA things, and come up with some ideas for if, you know, maybe Life Path wants to do a presentation for COA, or maybe we want to cast a wider net, you know, for elders in the community. We can think about what we might like to do there. Topic for next meeting.
are we good with that, folks?
Sounds good.
As a suggestion.
Mhm. Yeah, to me, it seems if we pick one in like one, and
Mhm.
you know, like one like life path or fitness or
Mhm.
hospice palliative care, and then we, you know, work on, you know, who would come and when, and then we, you know,
Mhm.
promote it, and have a special, I don't know what we decide. So we'll carry this over to the next meeting. And before we close, I just want to remind everyone that when, say, an article goes out, like Janice sends out the PDF of the newsletter, if you see an error or you want to make a comment, an observation, please do not reply all. Please only respond to, like Janice, if it's, you know, in this case, the newsletter, or Susan, if it's the minutes. It's really
Mhm.
important not to reply all, because even if it seems innocuous, we are, you know, unless it's just, you know, like Janice, you forgot a period. You know, if we're expressing something, it is an opinion. And we want to stay on the straight and narrow regarding open meeting law.
I didn't get one of those. This is Gray here, but Martha got a comment that was reply all from one of us.
So just, I
Mhm.
just want to remind us all that, you know, that's the
Mhm.
you know, just the way to go about it, so that
Mhm.
we're all good. If you have any questions about email and open meeting law, and you feel vague at all, again, Grace is a wonderful resource.
Mhm.
Susan, did you raise your hand? No. Okay. Anybody else? Anything?
One, I have, you know, one other, there seems, you know, I think it's Life Pack. I get my publications mixed up, but I mean, there's a lot about friendly dementia. So, and I don't know how prevalent it is in the community, but that might be a program too for the future. So,
Mhm.
Yes, yes, that's the MCOA that sends out the dementia.
thank you.
friendly. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
So I think that yes, so there's a lot of possibilities. It seems that our next meeting will be February 8th. Okay. And
Mhm. Okay, does anyone have any other comments or topics to raise under unanticipated topics? Nope.
okay, so
Okay.
for the next meeting, we'll have our usual, you know, minutes, financial updates. We'll, you know, see where, you know, the Gazette will hopefully be on its way, and, you know,
Mhm.
we'll proceed, and transportation update from Joanne. And we'll talk further about potential education programs. And I think that's it.
I have one more,
Yes.
just to have it out there. I assume at some point there will be an Our Town newsletter. I have not heard anything yet. I suspect this
Oh, right.
special town meeting has preoccupied the powers that be who make that decision. So we might want to think about what, we might need to have a small thing in whatever the next Our Town is.
Okay.
Although the Gazette fortunately is not going to be coming out at the same time as the Our Town. We didn't have that issue,
Right.
unfortunately, in a way.
We thought we might, but
Yeah, no, so I just
Yeah.
want to have that on the radar.
thank you. I put that down. Okay. Jan,
Jeanette?
Stockton here. Is it too late? I was just thinking that Sue Miller, that, just to have something in the Gazette about her like, saying goodbye, thanking her, even if it's a sentence or two, it's too late. Or is it not appropriate?
Let's see,
I think this is Bernhard. I think what Sue Gomberg said of sending a card of appreciation to Sue Miller and to the Foot Care by Nurses, and telling them how much we appreciate her. There aren't that many people who have been affected by the Foot Care, as opposed to the nearly 500 that we have for the Gazette. So I think a more personal approach for Sue Miller would be better. But thank you for that.
Gray here, a thought is that when we do have an Our Town, that might be a place, because we always advertise the foot clinic in that as well, to thank Sue Miller for her service and welcome Nancy Mead of Wendell, blah, blah, blah. Just gets names out there.
Okay.
Could be very
Thank
true.
you.
Be one
Thank you.
sentence.
Yes, great suggestion. Yes.
Great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, good. And this is just a tidbit. I just wanted to acknowledge that that everyone on the select board and there will, except for Melissa, will receive the newsletter, the Gazette. So so
Okay,
Martha.
So, having sent Chief Lenny the copy of it so he could give me revisions, I was wondering if there would be a copy that I could drop by the fire station for him.
Oh,
Is that-
Sure, and there ought to be a copy going to the police chief too, to Kristen.
Chief,
So you know what, I mean, one thing we'll have the PDF, which we can email to both the chiefs. Sometimes we do get, no, we won't get any extra copies because this is all labeled.
Okay,
right.
that's fine.
With the Our Town, there are always extra resident copies, but with this, ours are all labeled. However, we can email Kristen and Lenny.
Okay, I'll drop by my copy to him. I think
Or we could put their names on the mailing list. We could add them for this time.
that's
Yes,
necessary.
they can be added anyway. They can just be added as recipients of the newsletter.
That sounds like a good
Okay.
idea in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Is the library on that list?
What's really interesting is that I have a lot of regional organizations, etc., on the mailing list for our town, but I
Right.
don't have any for the Gazette. So I'm going to add. I don't think so. Anyway, I'm going to check. I'm going to add LifePath, the Chiefs.
The town clerk too.
Yeah, Grace.
Mary Ann. How about Village Neighbors?
Yep, got it.
You have 5 minutes, folks, but I'm glad this came up.
Yes, thank you. Yep. So if anyone thinks of anyone else, just email me. But I will add these
Okay.
and update it, and then make the other updates and send it to Joanne. Okay. So
Okay.
motion to adjourn.
This is Gomberg. I move.
So
we adjourn.
moved.
Okay.
Bernhard, second.
I just want to say to Jeanette, we're closing quickly because there's another town meeting taking place at 7. So we want to be, yeah. So, okay. Roll
Okay,
call.
Bernhard, aye. Bernhard, aye.
Barbara, I.
Gomberg, aye.
Gray eye.
Millinger, aye.
Scott, aye.
Often I.
Thanks, everybody. So good to be with you. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Susan, for hosting.
Aye.
You're welcome. Getting
Bye.
ready to end it.
Bye.